Hola, hola, buenos dias, bom dia, and good morning. My name is Melinda Ramirez, and I am ASE's Director of Leadership Programs. My pronouns are she, her, and ella. I'm Latina with dark brown curly hair, and I'm wearing a black blazer and orange blouse. Most importantly, me siento muy excited to be your Cafecito host today. For those of you who are tuning in, please feel free to join us in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from because I know we have a great guest to learn more about her and the organization. But before we get started with learning more about our guests, I'd like to tell all of our new ASE Familia members a little bit about ASE. ASE is a national nonprofit whose mission is to positively impact the American workplace by cultivating the pipeline of Latino talent. And we do that by providing Latino professionals the insight, access, and support to be successful in their careers. We have great resources and even better events. So, with that said, come and check out all our events on our ASE online page. If you're in Chi-Town or Chicago, stop by on April 5th. Join our Chicago Auxiliary Board for Brewing Connections networking event. On 4/11, we have a virtual event starting with the Cultivating Comunidad series, which is talking about the mind, the body, and the workplace. We also have on the 17th, our New York City Auxiliary Board is having a great happy hour networking event. And lastly, to close us out in April is our National Leadership Summit and Celebration that is happening in Chicago on the 25th and 26th of this month. So check us out on our Asset Events page to learn more. But we're here today to learn about the wonderful Dr. Saliha Nelson, who is the CEO of Urgent Inc. in Miami. Hola, Dr. Nelson. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me on today.
Of course, we're happy to have you. And as we always ask our guests, we would like to know, Dr. Nelson, how do you like your cafecito, your coffee, or morning beverage of choice?
I like cafe con leche light,
Mhm.
so not too dark, so it'll be bouncing off the walls. But yep.
That's awesome. That was my mom's favorite café con leche, coffee with milk, with the Puerto Rican in her would put little crackers.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know if that's my mom on the Puerto Rican side, but she loved that. I am team agua, team water today. So, Dr. Nelson, I know that you said I could call you Saliha, but as I mentioned, I like to put the respect on the name. You worked hard for your title. So, can you tell us a little bit about your cultural and professional background?
Sure. I am African American. I grew up in San Diego, and I've been living in Miami for about, oh my gosh, 20 something plus years. Not to give away my total age here.
You don't have to say all the years, right? For good old time. I love that. Thank you for sharing out. For those of you who are tuning in, shout out to San Diego, Miami, and everybody who is joining us from all different parts of the US and the world. So, Dr.
Absolutely.
Nelson, tell us a little bit how you got into Urgent Inc. and a little bit more about it before we understand the social and educational impact that you've been able to provide.
Sure thing. So, Urgent Inc., we are a creative youth development nonprofit. Actually, we're celebrating our 30-year anniversary this year. Our
Felicidades.
mission is to empower young creative minds to transform their lives and communities. And the vehicle that we use is film, arts, culture, and entrepreneurship. And we work with young people from kindergarten all the way through college. And so we're happy to still be reaching this milestone this year. And we're just very excited. We have a lot of things going on.
I know. Well, felicidades. Congratulations to
Thank
Urgent
you.
Inc. turning 30, looking great. Doing wonderful things for the Miami youth. And just want to give a shout out to not only Urgent Inc., but Comcast and NBC Telemundo, who also partnered with ASE most recently to help us do a video spotlighting our high school and university programs. So we appreciate that collaboration. We would love to learn a little bit. Can you tell our audience, Dr. Nelson, a little bit about Urgent Inc. and any memorable experience or projects that may have impacted the local Miami youth?
Well, I'll start with how we came to know each other, Urgent Inc. and I say, and that is through NBC Universal, Urgent was selected as one of NBC's creative agencies last year. And what that means is that as a creative agency for NBC, you're given an opportunity to produce a digital asset, whether it be a commercial, PSA, for one of their nonprofit partners. And we were among groups selected nationally because we have a media arts and creative technologies apprenticeship, and our apprentices were able to pitch, create, pitch, and produce a commercial for HACE last summer. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
time flies. Yes,
I
and
know. It's airing now on Peacock. It's national. We see our members telling us we see you on TV.
yeah, and so the director and producer were both apprentices of Urgent Inc. And they helped bring that commercial to life along with 10 other of our advanced interns and pre-apprentice. And
Nice.
so they had the opportunity to not only travel to New York and meet a lot of the NBC, creative team, a lot of creative agencies from across the country, but they were also on set with
Mm-hmm.
folks
They
from
were.
your team. There were actually a couple of them featured in the commercial. I know you had an alumni and
Our marketing
the
manager.
marketing manager had a very premier cameo in the
Yeah.
commercial. So it was fabulous. And the young people were so excited because it was something that was immediately, the impact could be seen immediately in terms of knowing that they were working on a commercial that could possibly air streaming on an NBC platform, which it is. And so, what an
Mm-hmm.
accomplishment and feeling of pride and confidence in their work that was able to be seen by thousands and thousands of folks. So, very exciting for us.
Yes, and just as exciting for us as well. Feel free to check us out online. If you're looking at that commercial, YouTube, my team could put it in the chat. And, I also want to give you kudos because you said I'm behind the scenes. I was working with releases and get everything signed. And that's just as important, right? So we want to thank you, but I love that real world experience, the partnership that happens, and for the students to see like, hey, their talent goes beyond not just national, it's reaching so many other people and changing lives. So we thank you and the Urgent Inc. and NBC for allowing this great partnership. And I know there's more exciting things. So with Urgent Academy, I know it's a private career and technical education middle school that's going to be opening in a couple of months for fall 2024. So Dr. Nelson, can you share with our audience a little bit more about that? And how did you turn the reality of opening up a middle school?
Yeah, well, you have to be a little crazy, first of all, and passionate. And so,
Mhm.
Urgent Inc., I've had the fortunate opportunity to incubate Urgent Academy for the last 8 years in Urgent Inc. And why did Urgent Inc. want to start, a school, a middle school in particular? And one of the things that motivated us to bring this middle school to reality is um, there's not a one, box fits all type of education for young people. And so we set upon a journey to discover, what are the innovative, progressive, but also research-based best practices um, in education that really champion the student, that really provide a holistic opportunity for young people
Yeah.
to develop while they're going through those middle school years, as we know,
Yes.
can be somewhat challenging. Um, Middle schoolers are very special people, and we wanted to really wrap our hands around creating a space for young people to really grow, develop, and explore their interests and talents
I love that.
alongside integrating that with their education, reading, writing, math, science, all of those things. But how can we create an experience that integrates arts and integrates their interest in a real way? And so Urgent Academy is that vision come to reality. So we are enrolling for sixth and seventh graders for the fall. It is an independent middle school, so we do take Florida Choice and Step Up scholarships. And so it's very accessible. And what I can say is that for families and middle schoolers who take the chance on coming to Urgent Academy, one, you're going to have a totally transformative experience in our space. We are so on the other side of the pendulum of traditional education because they'll be working on hands-on projects. They'll be learning out in the community, not only in the classroom. And as part of the school day, they're going to really be able to explore their interest. How many times have you been told that you had to learn something that was totally like, why am I learning this?
Yes,
but
that
at
sounds
Urgent
like me in the classroom, even in high
I
school.
don't see the relevance of this.
Right.
And so young people are going to be able to use their interest to learn all the basics, but it's going to be wrapped in their interest. And so our learning coach advisors are going to be able to wrap in those standards, wrap in those competencies and skills, but using interest as the basis of a lot of their learning. So we're very excited about the opportunity that we're bringing to the Miami area. We've done a lot of research. We've visited schools all over the country to learn what's working, what's exciting and motivating students to really outperform even what they thought they were capable of. And so we've seen the evidence, and we're bringing that opportunity now to Miami.
I love that. And I know our audience is actively engaging the chat. So audience, get ready for your questions. If you want to learn a little bit about Dr. Nelson, Urgent Inc., Urgent Academy. But I want to know, Dr. Nelson, because you said it takes a little bit of crazy to make things happen.
Yes.
Right? So tell me a little bit about the longer term vision. You had mentioned it's 6th and 7th grade. So is this just going to be a start for middle school, or do you foresee Urgent Academy expanding past 6th and 7th grade?
Yeah, so the goal is to really hone in on those middle school years. And, that's the first question that a lot of folks ask us, like, well, will there be a high school, or where are you going to do elementary? And I said, well, I'm not going to say no, but what I'm going to say is that those middle school years are critical years. And if you shore up those foundation of learning, of confidence, of connection in the middle school years, you're really setting young people up for a successful high school experience and beyond. And so they're going to get a jump start on making decisions for themselves, being self-directed learners, but also being able to work in teams and as a group. And as we know, in the real world, you have to work with other people, right?
Yes.
There's rarely a project that's only you and you alone. And so how great is that for young people to get a jump start on building those skills and exercising those muscles of collaboration, teamwork, and communication at such an early age that builds their confidence and presentation and working on projects, and knowing that the projects that they work on are not just because it's an assignment, but because it matters to someone. It matters to an organization in the community that they're working with. It matters that they're problem solving around issues that affect their lives and communities. And so everything about Urgent Academy it's going to make sense because it's going to be in a real world context. And we won't have that question, why am I doing this? You're going to absolutely know why it matters and why it matters for you. And so that is the type of learning experience that we're going to be able to bring to students who want to take a chance on themselves, want to flex those creative muscles and jump out their comfort zones.
I appreciate that so much. I was very fortunate to have great educators, administrators, and counselors. I'm just thinking, wow, what would my life have been if somebody said, okay, here are options that you're talented and try to do with media and all these exciting projects. Where would my life have gone, right? To try that, because I grew up in such a traditional household and education was very well praised. And I definitely consider that. And it was also safe too.
Mm.
So to hear like, hey, well, now trying that creative muscles, we're trying to give exposure to talent and media. That is so exciting for so many people, adults like me, let alone middle schoolers. So I'm sure they're excited to get their tiny hands on great equipment to work
Yeah,
hopefully well with one another. Conflict is not always a negative thing. You got to get through those growing pains.
absolutely.
So I would love to hear a little bit from your opinion, Dr. Nelson. What are you most excited about for this year, either for yourself or Urgent Inc. or Urgent Academy?
Well, celebrating our 30-year anniversary, first off, it's a time of reflection to look back and say, hey, how far we've come from our beginnings in 1994 as a completely volunteer-led project to now launching a middle school to
Right.
continue the legacy of Urgent Inc. And because Urgent Inc. focuses in the out of school time, after
Mm,
school, summer camp, breaks, all of those things, we're really going to be able to have a seamless opportunity for young people to continue explore not only education, but education through the lens of who they are and who they're becoming
I
through.
love
And so that's very exciting to us that we at Urgent Inc. We see ourselves as continually evolving,
mm,
looking at the landscape that's happening around us. What do our young people need to be prepared to do? How can we help them engage more in the community and develop who they are? And that's the exciting thing. And so
absolutely.
we are working on a project called 30 Voices for 30 Years. And
Mm,
what's so exciting to me is that we have young people that are our film interns and our apprentices helping to lead this effort of capturing these voices over 30 years of Urgent Inc. so that
that's beautiful.
one, we can document our own history,
Mhm.
which is so important, but also have that in the archives. And then also know that we're still creating connections out in the
Mhm.
community and the young people, the parents, the community partners that we've touched over the years, and what it's meant for them to have engaged with, our young people and our staff. And so I'm looking forward to learn too. I'm like, okay, what have we
Absolutely.
been doing?
It's
Because
been a
oftentimes
while. Go back to books.
oftentimes you think you know what you're doing, and then
Right.
someone come back and says, "No, well, this is what really happened." So that's the stories that I'm going to be excited to hear, and that's going to be shown at our 30-year celebration event in July. And also in July, we have our Mining for Social Change Youth Film Festival
Mhm.
coming up. And so, where we amplify the voices of young creatives working in film. And so, the 30-year anniversary event will be the culminating celebration
That sounds
after that
amazing.
two-day event in July. So you can check all of this out on our website.
Check it out,
Urgent,
folks.
yes, at urgentinc.org. You can go to urgentacademy.org as well. And we're very active on Instagram, so you can stay up to date with what we're up to by following us at Urgent Inc. on
I
Instagram as
love
well.
that. Show the love to Urgent Inc. Like, follow, share. Definitely had great years, 30 years actually, of making such a wonderful impact, not only in the Miami community, but the lives, the generational change that is happening too. My last question for you, Dr. Nelson, comes from Bernice Vargas Luna, our program manager, who is talking a little bit about the evolving, right, that you had mentioned in
Yeah.
30 years. The question is, how do you see this expanding across the nation? This is new frame for education would be amazing.
Thank you for that question. And, there's so much great education happening around the country and so many schools that we've learned from as we've been building out the design of Urgent Academy. And so this is happening. What I would like to see is How can we expand Urgent Academy across the state of Florida? So the state of Florida is ripe for, another educational opportunity. And it also has the scholarships available to
Mm-hmm.
make it accessible. And so we're so excited to see how we can grow. And now, if you talk to our president, he's like, yes, we're going to be across the country, no doubt about it. So in light of, giving a shout out to our president, Henry Crespo, who was a guest here a couple of weeks ago, um, I say that I accept, right? If there's a national footprint to be had, we're going to make it happen.
That's right. Another 30 years from now, you're going to be like, not only we're Florida, we're nationally, now we're globally. Wishing you, Dr. Nelson, Urgent Inc., and Urgent Academy, 30 plus more years of wonderful success. We thank you so much for personally everything that you've done to contribute to support the local Miami youth professionally as well. For Florida folks online, you heard that. Please make sure if you have any connects, there's ways to make Urgent Academy flourish. It's just getting started, folks. We know 30 years from now, we'll have even more successful stories. So, with that said, thank you so much, Dr. Nelson, for being our Cafecito guest today. We have wonderful ways for folks to connect with you on LinkedIn, on social media. So please hace familia, show your love, support, and dedication by giving love to Dr. Nelson and Urgent Inc. Once again, Dr. Nelson, thank you so much. And to our
Thanks,
Ask
Melinda.
Cafecito guests, thank you so much for tuning in and have a wonderful day. Adios.